G'day, folks. Welcome to Victoria County Tourism Webinar Series. My name is Tom Wilson. I'll be your host today. I'm the Director of Recreation and Tourism for the Municipality of Victoria County. Today's webinar will be on Destination Cape Breton Association's partnerships and programs. Our speaker will be Dan Coffin, Director of Marketing of Destination Cape Breton. This is the sixth in a series of webinars to assist tourism operators to help plan and prepare for the upcoming 2012 tourism season. I'm pleased now to introduce our speaker today. His name is Dan Coffin, Director of Marketing for Destination Cape Breton Association. Since returning to Cape Breton, Dan has worked with the craft sector, the accommodations sector, a major culture and music festival that we know as Celtic Colors, and for the past 2 years as Director of Marketing for Destination Cape Breton. A passionate Cape Bretoner who enjoys the satisfaction that comes with helping tourism businesses grow and improve in order to better meet the needs of visitors coming to Cape Breton. Today's presentation will focus on the partnerships and opportunities that can assist tourism operators in reaching more potential visitors for 2012, and where operators can find out additional information as the season progresses. The presentation will cover a short outline of target markets for 2012 and key channels that will be used in marketing Cape Breton in 2012. I'm pleased to introduce Dan Coffin.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, participants, for tuning in. Hello. I want to go through, I'll start off by saying I'm going to touch on the first couple of slides rather quickly. They do cover some of our target markets as we see a review of our target markets for 2012, our marketing channels in 2012. And going to spend most of the time in the experience and packaging opportunities section with some additional information at the end as with regards to criteria and a media travel trade program that will be reenacted for 2012 as well. So if there is any questions, feel free to plug them along. The first couple of slides, the review of target markets and marketing channels, will be information that we cover in greater depth in a future industry day due to happen on May 16th as well. So a little start off the slide, one of my favorite pictures along the Cabot Trail, and a quote that we're actually borrowing from Culture Ireland, a quote that we'll probably hear come up a number of times through 2012, stating that we're proud of our history. Thanks to a lot of efforts we went through in 2011, we now know who we are and what the visitors are looking for from us, and we know that we can take on the challenge of creating unique visitor experiences for those that want to come here. So from 2011's research and other research that we have gathered through Atlantic Canada Tourism Partnership and the Nova Scotia Government's Tourism Department's exit polls from 2010, we're targeting our primary focus in Halifax. Primary markets in Halifax results from tourism stats show that 61% of the visitors to Nova Scotia visit the Halifax waterfront and are visit Nova Scotia are from within Atlantic Canada. It also represents a high percentage of tourism revenues in the studies done in 2008. You can see there where the visitors to our website are coming from and the breakdowns of Atlantic Canadians versus Central Canada and other areas. Our marketing channels, a big focus for 2012, obviously, will be the website. Looking at the results we've been able to garner from our surveys done in 2011, again, we see 50% of the people that did visit our website in 2011 were actually planning a trip that they already decided on taking, whereas 26% of them were researching a potential trip and looking at Cape Breton as one of those options. The other 24% were gathering information, whether it was for other purposes outside of travel or for research, Alexander Graham Bell being a hot topic following the 2009 celebrations. And then a breakdown of other aspects of what they were looking for while on the site. Our website statistics and looking at what our goals for 2012 will be. We've had some significant increases over the visitation to the website. The page views on the website have taken a big jump as well in 2011, and we're looking to increase those two areas by about 15% in the 2012 goals. Our bounce rate has taken some declines, which is great. We want to see that happening, and our goal is to get down underneath 30% of a bounce rate for 2012 as well. Also, we've added another stat in there just for tracking purposes for the most part, which is time on site, wanting to increase that time on site so that everybody has a fair chance of planning their trip here. From our advertising and media plan, a lot has been learned when we break down how people recalled Cape Breton in the past and what they were looking for or how they got to cbisland.com. The recall rate for magazines was quite high, newspapers and online obviously very high as well. But looking at some of the other trade show activities, billboards and whatnot didn't fall in the area that gave us a whole lot of return. So we've adjusted some of our advertising going forward, looking at 2012. The magazines we're going to feature in 2012 will be Saltscape's The Take a Hike series. If those of you that saw it last year, we have a 2-page spread focusing on a different hiking trail in Cape Breton all through the summer, and it's actually in partnership with Subaru as well, where a visitor will win a week-long vacation and a Subaru to drive. Nova Scotia Festival Events Guide, the Nova Scotia Motorcycle Guide, Dining Out Guide, Halifax Visitor Guide, and Meet Nova Scotia are all other magazines that we'll be advertising in for 2012. Newspaper in 2011, we had some great stats to be able to narrow down what we're able to accomplish and where our best opportunities are. We had a very high recall factor with the Chronicle Herald's newspaper advertising, but you can see from the charts there, the other advertising did not generate a very good recall value for our efforts. So we'll be scaling that back a little bit for 2012 as well, focusing more in on some more online advertising as we see here. Again, online, we had some great results from it, and I think we can impact that in a bigger way and also directly target our advertising more specifically to those types of travelers that we're after. So focusing on Google AdWords, Facebook, cbc.ca, TripAdvisor again, as you can see a snapshot of the screen there. We had some big profile on TripAdvisor. I'm going to continue that for 2012 as well. MaritimeEscapes.com was a new website brought up last year with an approach to target those travelers that used to come across on the Cat Ferry to Yarmouth. So that's a targeted website that's trying to recapture that business that we've had in the past. And then NovaScotia.com, as well as some additional channels that we'll be focusing in on in specific markets. For other advertising, Doers and Dreamers Guide is always a big focus. You have to see a snapshot of the 2-page spread that will appear in 2012, and Travel Cape Breton. Most recently has been coming around looking for advertisers for that piece as well. We've partnered with them again in 2012, and you see a little snapshot of the cover page for 2012's Travel Cape Breton edition. There's also a new Cape Breton Post. It's an Atlantic Canada tabloid or tablet feature that will be coming out. The Cape Breton Post is doing it. It'll have a drop of 750,000 homes in Atlantic Canada, and will be focused solely on Cape Breton, and that's one of the big pieces that should probably be hitting a lot of your desks in the very near future. For our social media plan, looking at 2011, we were able to achieve some goals in 2011, but recognize that we need to ramp the social media plan up a fair bit. We can accomplish a whole lot more, I feel, with the efforts in the social media realm and focused on getting the right content and cross-promoting the right avenues as well. So partnering with other island-wide organizations that are related to tourism and that are very active in social media, we'll have a cross promotion of those organizations through creative briefs and sharing in content and sharing in calendars as well. More consistent daily posting across all of our channels, having a direct connection with some of the 12 essential certified product, which I'll touch on very briefly near the end of this presentation, and then collect and work more closely with each of our VIC. Recognizing not all operators and organizations out there have the ability or resources to be able to participate in social media. We're going to use our VIC staff as a way of connecting the dots and being able to have operators drop off information or relevant content that we can then share through social media channels as well. And also an opportunity to have some very direct information provided back to visitors that are researching information in places like TripAdvisor. Some promotional marketing, consumer shows in 2012 will be focused on Saltscape's Expo. As I said earlier, with some of the results from 2011's research, we identified that the trade shows was a high return for us in regards to people recognizing Cape Breton Island advertising. So we'll see a more focused approach for Saltscape's being much more of a Cape Breton visitor information center with some animation elements to give people a taste of what they can find with Cape Breton Island experiences. Along with this, we'll be launching the Experiences and Packages booklet, which I'll touch on in a couple slides. Other promotional marketing, the Halifax Waterfront Kiosk. Last year we partnered with Ambassador's Grey Lines. We had some good results coming out of the Halifax waterfront, however had the opportunity to be a standalone kiosk in 2012 and looking very favorably upon using that to be able to promote our Essential Cape Breton Experiences booklet to a key market for us as well. We'll also be engaging some animators and some artists that can actually come to the waterfront and provide a little glimpse into what a vacation in Cape Breton could look like for those that are touching base there. Cape Breton bus wraps will continue as they were in 2011. That's a 2-year program, so they'll be driving through eastern U.S. seaboards and taking cruise ship passengers around the excursions off the Halifax waterfront through the course of 2012. And travel media. With 2011 and Travel and Leisure magazine voting us the #1 on the list of top island destinations in continental U.S. and Canada, combined with some marketing efforts that were done through Golf Cape Breton and promoting the new golf course at Cat Links, we've seen some big web spikes in 2011 directly related to the traveling media that were here. So we've enhanced our media goals for 2012 so that we can focus on engaging 3 to 5 travel media people in relation to each of our top motivating categories. So focusing on why people want to come here and attacking media that are directly related to those categories. We'll also work with our Golf Cape Breton partners, meetings, conventions partners, as well as our cruise partners to share and familiarization tours with their media as well. A big focus for 2012 will also be to track and measure the value of some of this media coverage, as well as things like editorial coverage that we get through the Travel and Leisure publication, for example. We want to be able to put some value on that. So getting into the experience and packaging opportunity section. Looking at the experience and packaging booklet is a big focus for 2012. This is being worked on quite heavily now. We've had an amazing response so far. We actually had to up the pages. It was starting out as a 16-page booklet, and I think we're up over 20 pages now due to the response of operators within Cape Breton that have provided packages and experiences to be provided in this. So these packages and experiences booklets will be distributed through the visitor information centers throughout Cape Breton Island. They'll also be provided through mailouts for people that request information on Cape Breton. They'll be handed out through trade shows in partnership with our product group across the island, as well as different partners that will be attending trade shows such as the provincial government and the tourism department. We'll have special events that take place, whether it's in Halifax on the Halifax waterfront or through early market festivals and events that take place in Cape Breton. And then the Cape Breton kiosk, as we said, located on the Halifax waterfront, will be a key focus piece for that kiosk, and we'll be handing out those packages through there and encouraging people to follow through so we can track conversion rates as well. Unfortunately, the deadline for that material is coming up very quickly tomorrow, and you can see the participant cost for these are $100. Website banner ads, another big key feature for being able to present your business and your opportunities through the CB Island network. Front page banner ads, as they were last year, there's 12 spots available for those. They rotate. There's 3 spots shown at one time, and they do go on a random rotation. They run for $800 per year, and internal banner ads for $500 a year. The internal banner page ads, or internal page banner ads, were not available in 2011. It's some adjustments that we've made in the off-season to be able to take advantage of that. So there will be new ads added to the internal pages of accommodations, outdoor adventure, culinary, coastal experiences, music, arts and entertainment, and culture and heritage. Those actually, internal pages, all of the subheadings within those pages as well, will all carry the same ad. So if you advertise on the accommodations page, then every subheading within accommodations, whether it's bed and breakfasts or hotels and motels, will have that ad on it as well. Looking at the requirements for the banner ads, the headlines are 22 characters. You can see the body copy, size of the image we require, the different elements that we need, such as the exact URL for where you want that ad to be directed, and must meet criteria, which we'll get to at the very end. So content and social media marketing, as we saw back in some of our goals for one of the key marketing channels being social media, one of our keys is to make sure we work to have all organizations or all operators that are active in social media to connect with DCBA social media profiles. So if you are active in social media and your organization has a presence, whether it's once a week or 3 times a day, I'm not too particular on that, just would encourage you to sign up and either follow or like the Cape Breton Island page. The links are here in the presentation as well. And or share and retweet photos or content that we post, and then in turn we'll do the same. If you tag and direct content to our profiles so that we can find it, then we'll be happy to share that as well when it's appropriate for our focus as well. You can see some of our key social media profiles: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and the TripAdvisor page that I referenced earlier. You can see some of the content that we have up there as well. We have the opportunity to rotate images and different things on that page as well. Now, the next question that is going through somebody's head probably is, what if I'm not on social media? Well, if you're not active in social media, that's where we want to make some big strides in 2011, how we can connect our VICs to the operators in the area. So we want to be able to share stories, testimonials, pictures, and different updates on your business or organization with our social media. You can either email that directly through social media at dcba.ca, and that will come directly to me, and we'll be able to get that into our social media stream. Or you can bring the information into your local VIC and actually ask them to pass it along. We're going to be setting up and networking with them so that they can put that directly in their calendar of events for things that are upcoming in the next little while. And then the VIC advertising opportunity. Again, last year we installed 32-inch LCD screens in 3 VICs, the Quebec, St. Peter's, and Sydney VICs. You can see a breakdown of the visits to those VICs, as well as the time frame that they'd be open, and the screens would be running, and the cost as well. Great opportunity as well. You know, I encourage people that are in Quebec, for example, to advertise on the St. Peter's VIC and vice versa, so that we're extending the length of time that people are encouraged to visit Cape Breton. And then the next extension from that is obviously the Halifax Waterfront Kiosk. We also have the 32-inch LCD screen there. And looking at 2012 with the Tall Ships Festival planned for Halifax again, we know there'll be big visitation in that area. And we'll be doing our best to put some elements and animations together that will attract people into our kiosk, and in turn having the opportunity to get exposed to the ad that you provide for that kiosk. And a little bit of a new opportunity for 2012. We've had this happen in the past, I think, with industry, where we've done a bit of a media program to encourage the opportunity to present different elements to media, and also for opportunity for operators to find out how they get involved in and get exposure to some of these media opportunities as well. So what we look at is the focus on participation in this program. We have to have some sort of an agreement based around a minimum discount of 30% on the goods and services, include food. That would also, you know, outside of HST and whatnot. We need that to basically to be able to budget. And when we're looking at some of these media, for example, Mary's in San Francisco, on her way to San Francisco right now to attend a media event. And it would be ideal when she comes back that we have a list of places that we can build a budget around and say, yes, we can bring this writer in. They're a high-end writer. We can justify the cost, and here's how much it's going to cost. As it happens now, we end up having to do a lot of calling around and do a lot of guesswork on what the budget would be, and it makes it difficult for us to make quick decisions on being able to bring the right media person in. So we're looking for direct billing to DCBA as one of the agreements. Reasonable consideration of special requests. Look at Golf Cape Breton last year held an event at Castle Rock Inn, and Castle Rock Inn went out of their way, lined their tables with newspaper. You know, they had local beer brought in, and everything went quite nicely. And they wrote about that in great form with the travel writers. The recognition that came from that was significant. So we want to be able to have conversations around some of those special requests as well, to make sure that the experience is truly above and beyond for these media staff. And then bookings under this program would be made directly through our office. Great picture there from a 10 and 2 magazine. It was a fly fishing focused magazine writer that was through last fall, and they captured this great picture that I had to share right out of the magazine. Going into some other aspects that resources, I guess, that are provided to operators and resources that operators could have the use of. Our photo program, in the last 2 years, we've had 2 major photo shoots done and provided photos in conjunction with partnerships around the island. So we have a good new base of photos to go by. And we're happy to share those photos as well. We do have some criteria around those, and all of this will be provided in a presentation that you guys can hear and see again, I think. So I'm looking at, I don't want to go through all this, but looking at some of the basics. Obviously, we don't want the images to be altered. When we capture photos, we focus on certain icons of the island and certain experiences, and a lot of care goes into the selection of the location. So we want to make sure that no altering of the images is done, so that one of that iconic elements of the picture doesn't get taken out and becomes just a standard run-of-the-mill picture that everybody uses. So we also want to be focused on not using them in items that are sold for profit or receiving ad revenue. We didn't go on this venture to have people basically reselling things for ours, but we're happy to use them in any case that may be used to promote Cape Breton tourism in a very general manner as well. So you can see all the stipulations around those. And then similar for advertising, when we have the website ads or experiences booklet or providing experiences and packages for the website, for example, in order to be eligible for that, all businesses must be licensed with the province of Nova Scotia. Advertising must promote Cape Breton Island-based content, of course, and operators must be in compliance with all the government regulations. Very basic, just want to make sure that everybody's on board in what we're promoting as well. And then for accommodations eligibility, there's specific accommodations provisions there as well, and same for restaurants. And then looking at consistent messaging, part of our focus is to basically communicate one consistent big idea, and that is that Cape Breton Island is the destination of choice within Atlantic Canada. And we want to be able to invite industry to use some of the resources, whether it's our logo or travel and leisure designation logos, and pictures, for example, for future use. So on DCBA-info, those pictures will be available and whatnot as well. Just wanted to touch on product development as another resource that's available. Last year, we did a very preliminary job of working towards product development goals that we had set with a volunteer committee. For 2012, we now have a committed staff member in product development. Kelsey Peters is our product development coordinator, and she'll be the one focused on working with different operators in conjunction with the province and the provincial tourism department on developing a product that fits these 12 essentials. These 12 essentials are very much what we want to focus on and going forward for marketing certain market-ready product, I guess it is. So if you have an operation and you can meet most of these 12 essentials, then it's certainly worthwhile to touch base with Kelsey, have a small assessment done, and work with your local municipality and the provincial government as well to maybe take that product or experience to the next level. Some great elements there, and I think we're going to see this program really take shape in the next number of years. And then finally, DCBA-info, probably one of the more important topics I think that we can cover today. Everything that we did talk about today is basically outlined on the DCBA-info site in one form or another. So we encourage people to check this site regularly for updates. As I mentioned today, that homepage will change a little bit. We're going to have a little more focus on the festival and event sides of things so that people can draw more attention to how they can get involved in festival events. And you also have the ability to sign up for an RSS feed, whether it's visitor servicing, marketing, or product development that you're interested in, or all three. You can sign up and have any updates that are posted to this site come right to your website or right to your inbox, or whatever feed you use for reading your articles and whatnot. And that's it. I wrapped it up a little quicker than I thought I would. So let's open it up to whatever questions we have, and I encourage as many as possible.
Dan, you mentioned earlier about the packages and experience booklet, and the deadline, of course, is tomorrow, March 30th. But what are the deadlines for the website banner ads, as well as the ads on the VICs and the Halifax kiosks?
There's no real hard deadlines for those, where a lot of them aren't printed materials so that they can be come and go as we please, I guess, in a lot of cases. What ends up happening with a lot of those is there's some limited space. For example, the homepage web advertising ads, there's only 12 spots available. So the first 12 that are looking for the ads will actually get the spaces.
And so for the other banner ads, the internal ones?
The internal ones, we're going to have a lot more availability on there, and I think depending on what the uptake will be, I see those being available. I don't think we're going to run out of a whole lot of those. If we do, then we're in great shape. But I think what we're looking at is there's 5 different categories, or including accommodations. Actually, there would be 6 categories at 12 ads apiece. So we have quite a bit of availability for 72 ads at that point.
Now, the Halifax kiosks, is there any attendance numbers from last year that indicate why you would want to advertise at the Halifax kiosks?
We didn't have we do have attendance numbers, but to be able to narrow them down and say these are the ones that came in interested completely in Cape Breton would be misleading. One of the reasons that we want a standalone kiosk this year over 2011, in partnering with ambassadors, we had members from cruise ships, for example, coming into the kiosk saying they wanted to get on a bus and tour Cape Breton and be back for the 5 o'clock bus or boat departure. So it was very misleading in the numbers that came through the door. We could provide a real high number, but it's, again, I don't think it's an accurate one to say that they were specifically there looking at qualified information on Cape Breton Island. So we wanted to focus on this year looking at doing exactly what you're saying, tracking those numbers and tracking the conversion rates. I know all the people that did participate in the screen advertising as well as the brochure program for the Halifax Waterfront Kiosk last year, all of them indicated they wanted to be back and part of it again this year because they did see some results from that.
Okay. Annette or Donna, any more questions?
Yes, I have one here from Marion. I need to find out how to do daily posting.
We can help you with that. There's a whole bit of piece around that, I guess. And are you referring to daily postings on social media or on your website?
Daily postings wherever.
That's, I think, what you're getting at is a part of the bigger strategy involving content marketing and kind of a newer trend in the sense that marketing in the past a lot of times focused on what I call push marketing, or what is basically focused on putting your message out there through an advertising piece or through a newspaper ad or through a TV ad, for example. But that way you're pushing your message out to a mass audience, hoping that the small percentage of that audience that would be interested in what you're offering is available or is wanting to hear it at that point. What content marketing is more focused on is basically providing relevant content that people that are already interested in your product want to find, and with social media and the website and search engines, it becomes much easier for them to find that information if you're putting it in the right places. So that's what daily postings is all about, in the sense of making sure we're putting content out there on a regular basis so that people that want to find it are able to get to it. And the content marketing strategy basically would be focused around that show. And I can definitely talk to you some more about that, Mary, and we'll chat for sure, and I can follow up with you after this. There is a resource in Cape Breton that can actually work on that, and there's some also larger agencies that, if you wanted to get into a much bigger plan, you could work with as well.
And Dan, that brings up a good point. What Marion's talking about as well as your answer is that it's really important to understand that it's your web presence that counts out there, not just your website. And important to have that content marketing and new content as regularly as possible, so that people keep track of all the new and exciting things happening in different areas throughout Cape Breton Island. Definitely,
and that's part of what our social media strategy is focused on. So we've got Parks Canada, Celtic Colors, Celtic Heart North America, and also some communities, especially Victoria County, for example, that are very active in social media. And that's key for us as well, to make sure that we're sharing kind of what our common goals are. Obviously, we all want more people to come to the island, so how can we work together to make that happen? And that's a big part of what we're going to focus on, trying to share that information this year and be able to kind of cross-promote our products to our different markets.
You have another question, Dan, if you look up in the chat section.
It's more of a comment, but if Jody's commenting on encouraging our operators to send stories, I agree. I think part of what the example learned from Celtic Heart exactly was there's a lot of tradition bearers out there and people that have great stories and great history on Cape Breton Island, and the different things and interesting, unique quirks about us, I guess, that could be shared that people would appreciate. Celtic Heart's done a great example of capturing that and being able to promote that through the product development side and through the cooperative that they've built, and I think we can grow that and get better at that as well.
Dan, the question that Marion has is Destination Cape Breton working with the Cabot Trail Working Association? And then she says, I'm thinking about the Cabot Trail map for one thing.
Yeah, there's two different things there, and I'm not as familiar with where the Cabot Trail Working Association's status is currently. I know the association itself was going through some evaluations, and I know I think there was Roger Brooks was coming back to do a follow-up on a visit previously that was hosted through them. But I know Mary's been working with the board of directors with the Cabot Trail Working Association in moving forward and where things are. With the map, I'm not sure where that stands this year. It's a great segue. One of the things we targeted last year, looking at all the maps that are available, Celtic Heart, Celtic Colors again, the Cabot Trail map, there's the Cabot Craft Artisans map as well, they're all very unique to their purposes, but looking at where these were all being distributed, every map was targeted to be distributed in areas very broad and wide. Outside of Nova Scotia as well as within Nova Scotia. And we look at that and say, well, with the times today, it's much more valuable if we can actually digitize that map. So if we can create an interactive map very similar to what's on the Cabot Trail Working Association website, is an interactive map around the Cabot Trail, but broadening it out to be island-wide and focusing on every different aspect that people would be looking for. So if somebody's on cbisland.com and wants to see just accommodations, they click on a button and all the accommodations populate on the map. If they want to see what restaurants are close to them, they can also do that as well. And they can zoom in just like you would on a Google map for different regions and whatnot. So our goal is to create that database of information from the CB Island listings and create that interactive map that can then be shared across platforms, whether it's Celtic Heart or Celtic Colors, so that we can then share all that content through a digital map process and eventually becoming a mobile app, which is the next step, or mobile website for the most part, that we'll be working towards in 2012. So we are happy to work with the Cabot Trail Working Association. There's going to be some advancements, I think, this year. Whether they go forward with the map is not something that I'm privy to at this point. And
just to
what they do with the map, we want to enhance kind of how maps are used overall.
Yeah. The map is going ahead, and also they're updating their website and also looking more at their interactive map as well. So just hopefully, Marion, you'll get some information soon on that. Right now, the Cabot Trail Working Association will be going through a strategic plan process that you'll be hearing about probably within a month, and looking at the direction of where they're going to go forward. So as Dan mentioned, there's a lot of great things happening out there, and of course, the more we work together, the more that we should benefit, and in terms of not duplicating any other services.
I agree.
Is there any more questions? Okay, well, on behalf of the municipality of Victoria County and the Victoria County Campsite Association, we thank you for a great presentation and for letting us be able to look at the programs and partnerships in which we can get involved in for 2012. Later, after this session is over, a recording will be sent to you that you can view at a later date. And when you leave this session, a survey will open up in a new window, and we ask that you take a few seconds to fill it out and tell us how we did. On behalf of our partners and sponsors, we certainly like to thank everybody for joining us today, and Dan, and wish you a great 2012 tourism season, and best of luck. Thank you again.